that is possible. And I do wish that he was a little bit more careful.
Do you think he's ducking Tom?
No.
You think that fight happens?
100%. And it will happen this year. I believe I could go a little further.
I could say his name, but it's really just because I don't like him. And saying his name gives him clout, which I also don't want to do. His initials are CC.
And the reason is because he's frustrated. This is Tom talking. These are Tom's exact words. Hey, Daniel, tell Chael I'm not coming on over there, but I'm not doing interviews anywhere. I'm frustrated. I have nothing left to talk about.
UFC insider Chael Sonnen is certain that the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall battle will take place in 2025, despite Jones's frustrating wait. Dana White remains optimistic that this clash is still on the line, and he has suggested that he will enter the battle soon.
Tom waiting outside for me right now, and John, you let John do John. John's going to disappear. Not only will you not hear about him or what he's doing, neither will I. And then he will resurface and they'll call and we'll get it done.
I interviewed Tom Aspinall in London.
Another one.
He wants to fight Jon Jones.
He wants to fight everybody, man.
He thinks he'll beat Jon Jones.
Yes, he does. I love it. I love that. And a young, aggressive, talented heavyweight that he actually wants to fight all the best. The problem in this business is you have guys that say a lot of things publicly, but behind the curtains don't mean it. You know, don't really want these fights. Tom Aspinall is not that guy. Tom Aspinall wants to fight all the best in the world, and I love that.
How good is he?
Very good. We're going to find out, though. We make this Jon Jones fight, and obviously a fight like that for a young, talented heavyweight, and if he can win, he could beat Jon Jones. It's life.
Furthermore, Dana White has revealed that the long-awaited heavyweight battle between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall is still scheduled for 2025. Despite delays and persistent conjecture, the UFC remains committed to making this blockbuster fight a reality, keeping fans excited for one of the most anticipated heavyweight matchups in history.
The other big one is obviously Jon versus Tom Aspinall. This week was a funny one. Someone reported that the fight's done, it's got a date, then the next day someone reported the fight's off, and then Jon's not taking it. Where do we stand with that fight?
Everything you hear is bullshit until we say it.
So that fight is still the target for both men?
I've said it many times that's the fight that we want to make this year. Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, you said you were super confident. It's definitely going to happen. Are you still super confident?
Still super confident.
Meanwhile, on the most recent show, Jon Jones looked to dispel any uncertainties. Yet he said nothing. Instead, Jones revealed another psychological aspect behind his perfect record. He recently stated that he studies his opponents, watches their battles, and then fights them. Jones's preparation includes a full study of his opponent's routines, tendencies, and weaknesses. Jones noticed that during his bout with Cyril Gane, he visualized Gane throwing his left straight from a southpaw stance and was able to capitalize on it.
I dig into a person's personality. I dig into their tendencies, their psychology. I dig into how many kids they have, all that type of stuff. And when you're sitting across from your opponent and you tell them, oh, you started fighting when you were this old, and oh, you lost your coach back in this year, or you can't stick with one team, or you're left-handed, and when you flinch, your head goes to the left, and when you kick, it's primarily with your right leg, and you like to. And when you talk to an athlete like that, and he feels like this dude really knows everything about me, it's intimidating.
Moreover, Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier's rivalry is one of the most intense and memorable in UFC history. Jones stated that he carries no personal grudges and feels they could have been wonderful friends in different circumstances. Cormier confessed that the rivalry motivated him to become better, saying, "I attribute a lot of it to that rivalry, because I think I improved."
Angry?
You were angry. This guy got you.
Daniel Cormier and I swear, he's aged me in a certain way. I fight out of love. I do what I do surely out of love. I love this gift, the opportunity, the fans, the money, everything. I just love it. But with Daniel Cormier, I think there was a hatred that came out for the first time.
Wow.
Where I just couldn't imagine losing to this man. And I mean, I remember I got extra workouts on Christmas Day just because I hated him at the time so much and couldn't imagine losing to him. It drove me to beating him, but I never want to operate out of that energy.
On the other side, reigning UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones, who never minces words, has shockingly disclosed the name of the guy he has the most vehement contempt for. Jones, noted for his fiery personality and history of bitter conflicts, is known for harboring grudges and publicly venting his anger even after he has left the spotlight.
That's funny. I could say his name, but it's really just because I don't like him. And saying his name gives him clout, which I also don't want to do. But his initials are C, and he's a total douchebag. And and if you watch the sport, I think people will know who I'm talking about.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough.
We'll leave names out.
The fighter with the initial CC is definitely the former interim welterweight king Colby Covington. Chaos has gained a reputation as possibly the UFC's most divisive figure, a maestro of explosive trash talk who continually pushes the envelope far beyond ordinary fight promotion. Jones' harsh statements come at a time when Covington's career is on the decline, having lost 3 straight fights. This background adds additional layer, suggesting that Jones regards Covington's prominence as overblown, exacerbating the overrated moniker. Finally, Jon Bones Jones has stated that his main ambition is not only to succeed in the sport, but also to leave a lasting legacy that will define his career and shape the future of mixed martial arts. He wants to be recognized as one of the greatest fighters of all time, someone who not only won titles, but also inspired others and left a legacy that goes beyond his octagon victories. Jon is determined to achieve greatness that will survive the test of time, ensuring that his name is known and honored long after he has retired from fighting. It shows he has a plan to start additional fights.
What's ahead of me? Man, a whole lot of life. A whole lot of life. I feel excited about this world that I'm living in. I'm excited to just do things right, man. To just help out others, to be the best father that I can be, to be the best man that I could be to my family, to inspire as many people as I can, to show athletes that we're more than athletes, just in the way that we just be innovative and try to change the world in some way. Acting, that really brings me a lot of joy. I love it when I'm on set and, a producer or whoever it may be, just say that was absolutely perfect take. That makes me really excited. I love being the new guy, learning new things, So that's really it, man. Just trying to be the best businessman I could be.
According to Daniel Cormier, Jones is afraid to fight Aspinall because he is scared about being a finish on someone's highlight reel after avoiding that fate in 30 fights over the course of 17 years. Cormier remarked, "I don't think Jones has gone through anyone like Aspinall since he is so large and young. That could be his main hesitation. If I had to guess, I don't believe Jon Jones is afraid of Tom Aspinall. Jon Jones has escaped what none of the rest of us have, the picture of his being finished." Chael termed it trolling, saying it shows Tom's dissatisfaction with the UFC. Chael requested Daniel Cormier to bring Tom on his show, but Tom declined, stating he doesn't do interviews because he's frustrated and has nothing fresh to say. Chael feels Tom is unaware of Jon Jones' present situation in the UFC.
We haven't had big news, and if you're a fight fan, and I know that you are, but getting news, that's kind of the lifeblood of what we do. For me over here, as your talking head, I will die if there isn't news. But the point was, Tom is now trolling. Tom is now frustrated. So I wanted to talk to Tom. And Daniel happened to be talking to Tom when I wanted to talk to Tom. So I just said to Daniel, talk to Tom for me. Ask him if he'll come on. I want to talk with Tom. I want to find out what he knows. Because one thing that I'm convinced of is that the UFC is talking to Tom. And the UFC is talking to Jon. But I'm also convinced that Tom doesn't know what the UFC is talking with Jon about.
Chael Sonnen stated that he does not believe there is a huge plot or a profound strategy at work. Rather, he feels Tom Aspinall simply does not understand Jon Jones' position. He stated that Tom has no idea where Jon's heart is, what the discussions are like, or what John has been told. He claims to know Tom well because Tom appears in the media on a daily basis and is extremely open, but he thinks Tom has no idea what is going on with John, even saying, "We know what Tom had for breakfast, but not John."
I don't think that Tom has really any idea what John had for breakfast, if you follow the analogy. And I'd like to get to a little of that. And Daniel asked Tom on my behalf if he'll come on over here, and Tom said no, but he didn't say no because it was he wanted to make it clear. No one's getting a yes. And the reason is because he's frustrated. This is Tom talking. These are Tom's exact words.
Chael Sonnen once remarked that having no plan is still a strategy, and in Tom Aspinall's case, having nothing to say means talking a lot. Tom is frustrated because he has previously expressed everything and has not gotten any new information. Chael also stated unequivocally that Tom is not asking about with Jon Jones, but rather the actual heavyweight belt. He's willing to face Cyril Gavrilov or John as long as the title is on the line.
So Tom having nothing to talk about because he's frustrated, because he's already said it all, because he has not gathered any new information, to the point that it's making him mad against his own allies. Tom would look at Daniel and of course Chael as inner circle. And he's telling us no. Because internally it's driving him crazy. Now don't forget where Tom stands. I don't want you to forget that. Tom is not demanding Jon Jones. Tom is demanding the interim title. Don't forget where Tom stands. I don't want you to forget that. Tom is not demanding Jon Jones. Tom is demanding the interim title. Now, Tom is fine if you would like to do that through the media. If you would like to drop that belt in FedEx and deliver it to him, he's fine. He's even fine having to fight for it.
As a result, Chael Sonnen emphasized that there is an obvious difference between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones. The UFC can and should give Tom various opponents, but not Jon, who now has the uncontested title. That title implies that you are expected to battle anyone. Thus, the chance that Jon will not face the interim champ, Tom, should not even be a consideration. Of course, he should. Chael acknowledged that breaking it all down helped him comprehend how frustrating the problem is. Tom is right in his frustration, citing Jon Jones as an example.
UFC at some point can offer Aspinall many different opponents. The UFC at no point will offer Jon many opponents. Nor should they even consider it. That's what the Undisputed Belt represents, that you will take on anybody. If the Undisputed Champion will take on anybody, there should never be a debate of will he take on the interim champion. The answer is, of course, yes. And you know, now that I just broke that down for you guys, I was a little bit frustrated. I think Tom's right.
Chael wonders if Jon could retire today and still be called one of the greatest. He questions whether Jon truly needs to battle Tom Aspinall to finish his legacy. While a fight with Tom is exhilarating in the moment, its real value will be revealed over time. If Tom goes on to dominate someone like Cyril Gain, whom Jon easily defeated, Jon's choice not to face Tom may come into question. However, if Tom and Cyril participate in a close fight, it will highlight Jon's dominance.
If Jon Jones walked away right now, could he? In terms of legacy, all the great thing he's done, the youngest champion, a couple of divisions, all the great things that Jon has done, could he walk away right now and be just as intact? Does he need Tom Aspinall? What is it that would be added to Jon's mountaintop if he beat Tom Aspinall? If Jon walks away, in the short term, he's walking, he's a chicken, he's yellow, he was going to lose anyway, that is inevitably going to happen. But if Tom's very first opponent is Cyril Gane, Jon went through Cyril like a hot knife through butter. We have never seen the heavyweight title contested with less competition.
Chael then draws a link to Khabib Nurmagomedov, who retired at 29-0. Charles Oliveira emerged as a strong contender, but they never fought, leaving an unanswered question. Khabib and Charles defeated the identical opponents, Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, although Charles ended faster.
But meanwhile, the people that were calling John, he got a yellow stripe and he's a coward. If Surreal and Tom was to go out and really battle, regardless of outcome, but really put on a close back and forth, that is where you would be forced, even if you were one of the yellow belt, he's a coward crowd, to admit, wow, that Jon Jones, he sure was good. And this almost got tested. It got tested, it just worked out, but it was...
Chael believes that when considering legacy and how a fighter's narrative will be presented, it is important to consider the complete competitive field they fought against, as well as how those fighters will perform in the future.
Khabib left at 29-0. There was a guy who was one of the top that never got his shot, who was just as young, just as experienced, went on to prove to be the same thing, which is world champion, but they never crossed paths. And that guy was Charles Oliveira. He hadn't quite blown up yet. All the talk, it ends up being on Justin Gaethje, but that was after years of it being on Tony Ferguson. It was going to land on Charles, but it hadn't yet. So when Khabib walked, the idea that he had cleared out the division was true to an extent.
Furthermore, UFC insider Chael Sonnen believes the long-awaited bout between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall will take place in 2025. Even though Jon Jones beat Aspinall in an astounding 69-second knockout at UFC 295, tensions between the two remain high. Despite this, UFC President Dana White stays hopeful and certain that the matchup will be made. Fans are ready to see these two heavyweights face off, and all signs point to a fight happening soon. Sonnen voiced confidence that the Tom Aspinall vs. Jon Jones bout will take place, despite some turmoil and delays. Child feels that this big heavyweight fight is only a matter of time and will take place in the near future.
And you know what? I think I'm bragging about John. How many years have we all just wanted him to get an Uber? Like, go out, have your fun, let someone else drive. It was actually, because I would have liked to see Jon Jones with a helmet on. Right. It is very possible the way this Jon Jones story ends is something like that, and he gets in a wreck and he wasn't wearing a helmet. Like that, like he lives just dangerous enough that is possible. And I do wish that he was a little bit more careful.
Do you think he's ducking Tom?
No.
You think that fight happens?
100%.
Chael Sonnen thinks the Jon Jones vs. Tom Aspinall bout will happen this year. He thinks Jon lives a bit dangerously, but he hopes he is more cautious. Chael explained the timeline. Jon defeats Stipe, and Aspinall is the interim champion and #1 contender. Hence, the UFC regulations require them to fight to unify the title.
Jon beats Stipe, Aspinall's in the ring. The only thing we know about interim champion, because we will change the rules as we go in this sport, we're well aware, but one thing that we know about interim champion is the interim champion is the #1 contender. The interim champion will compete with the undisputed champion. If for some reason that doesn't happen, they switch chairs. You are now the undisputed champion. I mean, that is why this works. That's why there's no conversation. The built-in leverage is in front of everybody. Not what happened here. And Jon comes out of the ring, and he starts talking about $40 million. And just to remind you what had happened, there was a rumor that came out, whether it's true or not, but at that point, Mike Tyson had fought the Paul brother the night before. Right. There was a rumor that Paul got $40 million. So Jon just had this number in his head. So he just throws the same number out that TMZ had reported that Paul got. It was a random, arbitrary number, and that one interview, though, has led the world to believe that Jon, behind the scene, what Jon says right there doesn't matter. What matters is when he gets that phone call, says, "This is Dana, here's what I want to do with you, my champion." If you, that yes or no in that moment, but that's the moment that gets tested. And I do not believe that that moment ever came and that Jon Jones said no, or that Jon Jones said $40 million. I think he had his fun with the media, and I think he's just waiting for them to say a date. And when they do, I believe Jon Jones will show.
Despite the fact that Tom Aspinall claims to be losing money on a daily basis, he might be making much more money than he is. This is something few people have talked throughout the process. On top of all the speculation and the patience of Aspinall and UFC fans, Jones is becoming more open about his job status, commenting on Instagram photos, informing people on phone calls that he is done fighting, and so on. On the low end, Aspinall would have missed out on almost $5 million if this lengthy gap had not happened. Dana White previously indicated that world winners become partners in the organization, which is where the life-changing money starts. Aspinall has recently been well compensated for his UFC career, but being a world champion in his prime with the activity he wants can increase that fortune even further. Jon Jones may be the undisputed heavyweight champion, but he is also the undisputed champion of quiet, while Tom Aspinall is prepared, ready, and waiting. The belt is still frozen, the division is at a standstill, and the fans are in limbo. Aspinall isn't demanding a name, he's demanding action, and if Jon doesn't show up, someone else must, because heavyweight gold belongs in the cage, not on a shelf. Do you think Jon Jones is avoiding Tom Aspinall, or is this simply savvy business? Should Jon Jones be stripped if he continues to delay? Tell us what you think. Is Tom Aspinall the true champion in your opinion, or does he still have to beat Jon to prove it? Leave your views in the comments below. If you like the analysis, please like and subscribe for more fighting stuff. Thank you for watching.